You see, if you have a shop vac, you can now vacuum it all up. Hey, you don't have to buy a shop vac. You don't need to have it that clean. You can take a broom, a little crummy paintbrush, like I said, something like that. This is how your opening is going to look. Okay, now you can measure that and cut a piece of plywood and screw that in, being ready for the glass company. Well, that's about it, but there's one more important thing I want to show you. Here I was sweating taking these windows out because I thought it was going to take us all day. As it was, 3-4 hours tops, and I was done with my section of the work. Yeah, see, here's some more. These are in good shape, so those are going to stay. And I'm not quite sure how these other windows are going to be, if they're going to be wood or what, because they still have to finish out kind of like the existing windows. So I'm kind of anxious to see what that's going to look like. Now see, he's going to use that material, and that's redwood. He's got his saw angled. I don't know what degree that is, but that's going to be for the window stool over here. The exterior window stool. He's going to fashion it back up in here because it has to come out at an angle, kind of like how it was before. Okay? Yeah, if you don't know how to cut that, you know, you may have to get somebody else to cut that. Hey Brian, what degree is that set for, that you cut those?
10.
10 degrees? Okay, 10-degree angle. Is that for most windows, or just happens to be for these?
Yeah, I wouldn't really know. I just use the bevel square to, you know.
Okay, and
the angle, and
you probably match the existing angle.
And of course, the new digital tools.
Oh,
actually
cool.
gives you your actual angle. So.
Oh, nice. Okay, he held that up there.
Yeah.
Then he figured out what angle he needed. And see, my job was to get these openings ready for him. What he's doing is he's cutting these window stools. I don't know if you want to call them window stools. You call them window aprons or stools on the interior, but he's cutting these, and he's going to have to shim these up and stick them at an angle. And he was going to take some wood shims, by the way, and put wood shims down here, and then do some guesswork as to the angle. And I said, hey, why don't you just use some sheetrock screws, you know, some fairly long ones, let's say 2.5 inch or so. You can run those down in there, and then you can take some you know, nothing here, and then you can adjust these by unscrewing them a little bit or lowering them down, tightening them up a little bit, and you use those as your shims. You can have one there, you can have one here, and one over there. Raise and lower those. See how that piece is cut at an angle? That's what you got to have. He'd have to have blocks exactly right in there. And I said, just use shims. How about using sheetrock screws? He said, oh, that's a good idea. So that's what he's going to use.
When I was a kid.
Well, he did this really good. Good job over here, Brian. You did a good job here. He just used some redwood. And see, initially he had a 2x6 where you could use a 2x8. He had a little piece on here, but see how this angle looks? It looks like a big fat piece, and he's got the 10-degree angle here. He's notched it out because remember, the window's going to stop right there, and then the trim's going to come down. He did really good. There's a box here. It's a telephone box. I don't know why they got it so close to the trim, but they did. And this piece comes to here. That looks all nice. And see, it's hanging out a little bit because you want to create a drip edge right there, so when the water, because see, the window's going to be back in here, right? The window's probably going to be flush with that. You want the water to hit here and run down, and when it hits this edge, you want a little drip edge. Okay, because what happens is the water has a tendency to roll over this edge just a bit before it drips off it. So you don't want to make this too close to the stucco. You get it too close and it's going to run right into the crack. I mean, obviously we still got to caulk this down. And he ran some sheetrock screws underneath here for shims, and then he used some screws and drove them in there. I think he did a really good job with that. That's how your window's going to be set up on the exterior side before they install this window. Good job. That's a good point Brian said, was he used 3-inch screws And because this is going up at an angle, there's a big gap from here down to the existing. Because this is redwood, you can drive these screws right into the redwood and get it snug as a bug in a rug. Awesome, this is what your project's gonna look like with the plywood up. We got the plywood up there, and remember I said we're gonna use some special screws? Well, this is what we used. Now you can use different ones than this, but see that? That's a star head right there. And some other heads are square heads. You can get both square and star, and then you use a star bit like that, and you put that in your drill, and that fits right on into there. Oh, nice. Not everybody's gonna have one of those. You know, if they want to break into a building, let's say, and you just put it in your drill and put those screws in. That's what we did. This plywood's only going to be up for a few days anyways, and then the glass company is going to be here, the window company is going to be here, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to come back on this week when the glass company is here and maybe show a couple shots of them installing these windows and the trim or whatever, or maybe just the final product or whatever. But this was what this video series was about. Not how to install the windows, but how to remove an old style window. Now, you know. And if you say you don't have a screw tip, you see this? You get the right screws, you get the free bit. Remember that. Now you see why I put that plastic up? Oh yeah, there's not any dust on here. Look at that, nothing. I've got nothing there because I got that nicely bagged off. We were real careful when we took the window out so we didn't gouge the plastic and let anything come in. This is bubbled just a little bit. It's kind of bowed out a little bit because of some air coming through the plywood and stuff, but that's fine. Now they can work in here knowing that nothing is dusty for the next 3 or 4 days. I'm just going to leave this plastic here over the computer just so that they can see that I was here, that I tried to do something nice for them. Okay? Just make sure you check things out. Don't make any assumptions, because if there is a hole in this plastic, you come in here, you may have to wipe all this stuff down, put a piece of masking tape over a hole in the plastic, let's say, something like that. Or if you see some of your tapes coming off, you can kind of push that back down. You know, whatever you got to do. I ended up double taping this so that I could make sure that I didn't have any issues later. And son of a gun, it's fine. That's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos.